Yes, I did.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it is on my page, I think, anyway. But if you do it again,
For
that's fine.
some reason, it's not letting me tag you, but I can do it from here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, sometimes. Let's see here. Okay, there you are. All right, so I see you there. Let me put the Zoom link. Everybody's used to this. They'll still get here. Let's see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm excited to be talking to you. Hey, Gaia Man's here. Okay. Uh-oh, what happened? Paste. Okay, there we go. All right, we're back on Facebook. Let me just get my shift together. Uh-oh, we have a little bit of reverb. It's okay. Hang on. God, what's up with the electronic connections? Technology is
I actually think there's a wave that is coming through now.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really big wave.
Yeah, I think so because I felt it, and I knew when we started, when the intro started, I was like, "Oh, something's going on."
Yeah. Well, I've actually felt it in my ears for about 2 or 3 hours, and I was thinking, "Oh, great, this is the best time to have a wave coming through." The ears are feeling squeezed at the moment.
Let's see here. Hang on. Let me just get it shared out. Okay, so sorry for the delay, everybody. I'm coming. We got 24 people in the house.
Wow.
These shows resonate. Please share so we can stay above these algorithms at Facebook. Until, which is coming up upon us very soon, where we're going to expand this network from an independent stream, an independent server, outside of the constructs of any matrix social media. No more YouTube strikes, no more suppression on Facebook. And we're going to build this network and allow everybody an opportunity to come and stream and participate unencumbered by anything outside of us in this perfect design that we've created. Hello, everybody. We have a beautiful sister on. I haven't met her as usual. I like to just do everything spontaneously.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you how I came across. Is it Fiza?
Fiza, that's perfect. Thank you.
Fiza Saeed, yeah. Fiza, and I came across her in what is it? Ancient Wise Souls.
It's the Wise Ancient Ones.
Yeah, the Wise Ancient Ones, which is our brother Bilal. That's his group that he started, and I've been sharing in there. And so one day I went in there about 10 days ago, and I saw an incredible post that you put together, and I believe it had to do with sacred union or sacred marriage or something like that.
That's true. Yeah, that's
Kundalini, right. Something like that.
Kundalini, yes, yeah.
And then today I actually saw it, and so I shared that post, and then Morgan saw it, and then she shared it. Next thing I know, I was telling her, "You need to get this sister on," and she's like, "I already got it." So that was cool.
She's very organized. She's very organized.
Oh yeah,
she's great.
And so then I saw another one today that was really good that you put out. Maybe we can talk about it.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
what I did get from what I saw of those two posts and a couple other things that you posted, that you and I did include the bio and the announcement. I'll have to put it back in there because I erased it. But to me, I could see that. Let me just say hello to my friend Elfie. Guten Morgen. And that's German. That's
was really impressive.
Buenos dias. That's easier for me. But yeah. So to me, I could tell that you're a lot in 1,600 episodes. We've had a lot of divine feminines come forward that had been doing this work for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
And many of them had never really come out.
Yeah.
And so it's been a real privilege for us to support, these ladies coming out, because the information and that the coding and the frequency is needed, as we all know, in what's been a patriarchal experience up until this point. Now the game changers have arrived, and we're taking a hold of this thing and taking responsibility for the change and the transformation that we're all a part of. So yeah, welcome to the show. Thank you for honoring us with your presence and sharing space with us. And thank you for your patience, everybody, in regard to the delay. And so we have plenty of time. We don't have another show for an hour and 20 minutes. And if you're okay, I know it's late over there. You're in London, right?
I'm in London. It's not too late. It is
Okay.
6:40 now.
Okay,
So that's
perfect.
fine. That's fine.
So I don't know. And by the way, Susan Worthington says, I love that group. I'm part of it and have come across many powerful people there. Wise Ancient Ones, Brother Bilal created. So that is a great space. So
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful.
sometimes when we get people on here for the first time, I like to ask them, when did you wake up? And I'm a little interested with you because I have a feeling that you've been tuned in. Actually, I cheated because I saw the bio. And the bio talked about how when you were very young,
Yeah.
you had a oneness experience, basically that everything was everything. And then you
Yes.
had 35 or 40 more of these as a child. Can you describe those situations?
Okay, so this is the hardest thing I think to try and explain in human words. But so I think I was about 4 when I had the first experience, and so it was like just being in a room here, and I would be in the room, and then I would see a pen, and I'd think, oh, okay, that is a pen. And then I wouldn't understand what a pen was. And so in my mind, I'd be going, I don't understand a pen. I don't understand the word pen. So then I would move to like the next thing. I think, okay, this is a book. And then I couldn't understand what the word book meant. And then I moved on to my own name, and I was going, okay, I can't understand my own name. I don't understand who I am. And I just couldn't understand the world. And as I thought, okay, I don't know who I am. It was like this world just, it went, and I was standing in a white mist. It was like a white mist, and there was no form, and I had no form. So I looked down at my hands. I had no hands. I was part of the mist, and I could just feel love, and I was love, and it was a love that is so hard to actually explain. It was a love where I just knew I was being held in that love. And it was so pure, and
how did you
oh,
wait a minute.
Carry on.
No, we have a little bit of reverb, but I know how it works. So when you talk, I have to let your sound waves die down, then I can start talking.
Okay.
So how did you cope with that at 4 years old and 5 years old? Did you have someone to talk to about it?
No, because I don't think that anyone did in those days. It's quite hard to actually talk about things. I mean, to be honest, I didn't tell anyone until I was a lot older, and no one actually understood, because I was trying to explain to myself what is that? What is that thing I experienced? And so I didn't, and I didn't really find out until about 2 or 3 years ago that actually that is what source is. It's that formlessness. It's that love. It's being that love. It's being held in that love. So no, I didn't. I mean, I loved being there, but actually, it also meant that I was pulled from there as well.
Yeah.
All of those times, and that's quite hard, because being in that love, and then being pulled away from that love, is quite tough. I did not want to come back, I have to be honest. And I did and I didn't, because obviously I love being here, otherwise I wouldn't have come here. But it was hard to have that pull, to feel that pull all those times over and over again.
Yeah. A lot of people talk about that with near-death experiences. I know I've had a couple of out-of-body experiences, and they're like, okay, you got to go back now. And I'm like, I don't want to go back.
And it's like, oh yeah, thanks, man. Yeah. Do I have to? Yeah, I know, it's hard. It is hard. Yeah.
So now when you were young, is this communion or this connection that you're having since you were little?
Yeah.
Is it strictly like a singular voice of source, or do you like some people, have interactions with galactic star family or divine essence?
I have had that. Yeah. I have had that in the past, but this one is just source. So so that's one experience. I have had other experiences with, I think the first one I had was it must have been about 12 years ago, I think. And I was in a room, and I just suddenly looked over and I saw, I don't know who it was, these sort of things, and I wasn't sure if they were male or if they were female, or or like who they were, because I hadn't heard of them. I hadn't heard of like space beings or anything. So I looked over and I asked them who they were, because I had no idea, and they said they were the Council of One, which I hadn't heard of. The Council of One. I hadn't heard of councils. I hadn't heard of these beings. I hadn't heard of anything. And so I asked them why they were here, and they asked me to kneel. And there was one of them who I actually now believe is me as my higher self. Who so she asked me to kneel. He, but I think it was more of a she, asked me to kneel and just said, "You are here just to be love. Just be love. That's all you have to do, is to be love. There's nothing else that we have to do except be love."
So these were like higher dimensional aspects. One which you feel like was probably you, which I can relate. I can relate to this. Where I'm intrigued by, which I've never really gotten a good answer, is how does the galactic fit in? Because like I've had experiences, Morgan and I, we've had experience obviously with higher dimensional aspects of ourselves and a monad, or I would say more than one monad. We've even had an experience where there was a monad of 12, which we understood was probably at the highest level we had gotten to.
Wow.
And this one of the 12 stepped forward and said, "I'm actually both of you in one body at a higher level." Yeah. But then you have a lot of people. Now we've had a few galactic experiences with different star families. Let's put it that way. Some, or at least one occasion for sure, materialized before our eyes in the bedroom. And then we've had other ones with golden beams, which I see that like as a different kind of group. I don't know.
I think it is a different group, actually. I think it is a different group.
Yeah, they seem to be very prominent. Do you know anything about the golden beams?
I haven't seen them, but I think Broder has mentioned them in the last few months, where he said they are about to be seen more and more. I haven't seen them. I've seen the light one. I've seen ones which are made of white light. I haven't seen the golden ones yet, but apparently they are there, and they are about to step forth. Yeah,
I was watching and this goes back to the galactic thing, the question. I don't know. We're just having a conversation. That's what we do. But so it seems to me like the galactic part of it, or let's say our galactic aspects. Some people say, "Oh, well, they're from the future if it's linear and all that." I don't even care, but they seem to be the closest to us. Like you've got the elementals. They're obviously there, and then you kind of have, and they seem to be somewhat organic, like even if it's fairies or dragons or trees or the wind, and then you have this kind of star family galactic presence, which is almost like I would say it's more of our past than our future, but it's like,
well, I think it's both. I think it's both, because actually in like terms of time, the way that I've tried to actually work it out in the last few weeks is it's almost like if you put dots down and then you fold it and you like fold it up like a fan, it's playing out all at the same time, because there is no time. So it's us now and then and in the future and in the past.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And then the thing that I find intriguing, of course, is so on one hand you have I don't know how people look at this, but I mean the controllers or those that have had the esoteric knowledge and they kept it a secret, the 1%, whatever you want to call it. I see them as just aspects of me. That's just another level of integration and equalization that I've got to do. But what I'm getting at is, so you've got like Project Bluebeam, you've got Secret Space, you've got flying objects that look to be at least to some degree man-made. But then you have these other ones which are making their presence known through visitation, in communion, but also through the sky. This morning I got up and I was given a video by James Gilliam over at the SETI Ranch, where they had 31 ships in the air. But they're known for that. They're known for having sightings there and on a regular basis. But this one was really big with 31.
But that's amazing, though. That's a lot. That's a lot in one go.
Yeah, I watched it, and so I go back to where I was leading to this with, and that is, and then like the comment you made about the golden beans being more present and being shown more. A lot of this stuff is starting to come together, and other people or different people are having really the same intel, the same experiences are starting to kind of come together. What do you think the relation is with these galactic aspects? Do you feel like they're actually going to land, or do you feel like they're going to be, let's say, visible to everyone, or is it just to some people? And I know there's no right answer, but I'm just saying from your perspective.
So my view, I would find it surprising if they did land, because I think most would freak out, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, even if I saw them, I might even freak, and because it's a big thing. That's a big thing to try and absorb. So I can see them in my third eye and I'm perfectly fine, but I don't know how I would feel if I saw them.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm the same way, because I'm one of those that I'm like, I tell them almost every night, like, show me more, give me more.
Yeah, no.
And I feel kind of weird because I feel like I'm actually talking to myself. But when I look at, like, one incident that we had where there was probably 8 or 10 of them came into the room, and they didn't, none of them looked the same. They all looked different, and it was very obvious to me that they all represented different parts of the universe, different star families. But and they were visible. They were translucent, but I could see the the definition of their face and everything. And obviously there was telepathy happening and all that. But my point is then I see other things have kind of like flashed, and you kind of like go, okay, wait a minute. I don't know if my human psyche can handle that. You know what I mean?
I think that's what it is. I think it's the human side. Because I think it was last year I had an experience where I had this big white flash, where I thought, oh my God, it's the event. The event's actually happening. It was this big white flash, and I could see it. And even though I was like, this is great, part of me went into like panic mode, and I almost freaked. And it was too much light coming in. It was like, I think I'm actually going to freak. So I think even though we're all asking for it, the reason these things don't come is because we can't handle it. Aspects of ourselves actually can't handle it.
Yeah, or they'll come whenever we can handle it, I guess.
Exactly.
Now, have you had a lot of people? I want to be careful with my choice of words because I don't want to use extremes, but a lot of people have been reporting over the last couple of months. More visitation, more communion with more clarity, more shadows coming up, more things popping in their head that they thought were put away or put to rest. There's been people talking about the last 2 or 3 days, the energy of betrayal, like a divine feminine original wound, or the divine masculine original wounds. I mean, these things that are really, really deep. So a lot of people are talking about the same stuff on 2 or 3 or 4 different fronts. Have you been experiencing any of that?
I have been experiencing a lot of it, actually. I mean, what I would say is I think one of the great things about Facebook is that we all share now.
Yeah.
And the fact that we share means that we can all say, okay, I'm not going mad. This is actually happening. It's a thing that is going on. So I actually wrote some notes, because I think this is quite key, that, this year has been intense. The last 3 weeks has been intense. The last week has been even more intense. And I think the last 2 or 3 days has been really intense. So I think for all of us, it's like this push that we're being pushed and pushed and pushed. And I think it was last week, I had something like 23 core wounds came up from me. Now, I've been doing work on myself for years, so I was quite shocked that I had all these wounds were just coming up. In fact, last week, I think I spent most of the week just lying in bed, just exhausted.
Wow.
It's been really, really intense. It's like we've had to actually drag ourselves to this place. Everything is being squeezed out. Every fear, every issue, everything is now being squeezed out.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I love the way you described that. This has been an intense year, and then the last few months, and the last few weeks, and the last 2 or 3 days.
and today and this evening, and you know, it's ramping up. It does. It ramps up in that way, and it's being pushed. It's being pushed, squeezed and squeezed and squeezed.
Well, one of the things that seems to be very clear to me is oneness, period.
Yeah.
You know, there is no separation. So whether it's a fly in your room or a bad memory or feelings towards a victimizer or you know, whatever your thoughts or concepts are of external ET family or external energies or entities, it's oneness is oneness. And I know that we've had, you know, we were told probably 3 months ago, well, we were told before that, but I'd say it came in really hard one night about 3 months ago. And we were told as we get to the end of the year, it's going to accelerate and more stuff is going to come up to be cleared. And that's pretty much all you're going to be doing through the end of the year. And I think that's been happening. Yeah.
I would say that has been happening because in my life, there's you know, the stuff that has been going on in the last 3 weeks has been intense, and you know, I can say that I know it because I have lived it, that we are being squeezed and everything is coming out, and it's coming out now because it has to be. And actually I had cleared the end of the year. I didn't know why, but I had cleared it of work, I'd cleared it of everything. So it has meant I have been able just to lie and get it out. Honestly, last week was, I mean, you know, the like kids would like come and say, you know, Mum, you haven't actually done anything except lie in bed. I just couldn't. It was, you know, all the pain was coming out and it hurts and it's tiring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very, very tiring.
Yeah, it is. You're right about that. And, you know, and people have talked about having to lay down and rest. You're not being lazy. You're actually doing some work, and the ramifications it has on the physical body. You know, I did one, I don't know if it was yesterday morning. Yeah, it was yesterday morning. So we had the previous night, we had a very powerful night with friends. And when I woke up, I was almost distraught. I knew, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know why I felt the way I did. So I went for a drive and I went and parked by a little lake. And I said, just give it to me now. Just give it all to me right now. Whatever I'm not getting, I don't need an explanation. Just give me the download or whatever. And be careful what you ask for. Because then I had to drive. Then I had to drive like a mile home, you know, a couple of kilometers home. And I was shaking the whole time. I was shaking. I was trying to drive. And I pulled up and I ran into the bedroom and I got into the covers and I just shook for like 2 hours.
Wow.
And I saw all this light. I don't know what happened. I don't know what it was. I don't know what needed to be integrated or balanced or whatever, but it worked, you know, it worked.
Yeah. And also you have reached the point in your life where you know that it's time to rest, or it's time just to absorb it, or don't actually try and fight it. Just you know, just sit in that space and allow it to happen, whatever is going to happen.
Surrender to the embrace, right?
Surrender is a good word. Surrendering is hard though sometimes.
Yes, it is hard. Yes,
so
it
hard.
is. But it's become, you know, I've realized now that for me, it's a very common several times a day. I just say, you know what, just surrender. I surrender. Give it to me, please. Whatever. You said something else I think that's very notable and I think is very impressive. You said you had 23 core wounds come up recently.
Oh yeah.
And that tells me, well, you said it earlier, that you've been working on yourself for years and years and years. Morgan's a lot like you.
Yeah.
And she's very consistent about, you know, about tracking everything. Like I wouldn't be surprised if she would make a comment like that, 23 core wounds, because she knows she's like a shadow eater. So she seeks them out, she finds them, she documents them.
That's what I did. I actually wrote a list. I was going, oh my gosh, number 3, number 4, number 5.
So that's what she does. She's big on lists.
Yeah.
And that's how she kind of helped me when I met her. You know, I tell this story all the time, but you know, she put me through 5 weeks. I call it a boot camp, but it wasn't really a boot camp. It was she knew that I had shadows I was unaware of. In order for this relationship to go to the next level, I would have to clear. So she gave me the opportunity to dig into my subconscious by creating these lists of, of basically of polarities, and then starting to integrate the polarities, which I'm sure
Wow.
that's, at the end of the day, that's, I think the awareness of something you were unconscious of is a big first step. I mean, for you, do you have to spend time integrating polarities, or do you just pull up the wound and say, okay, there you are, I love you, and or however you integrate it?
Okay, so last week I was pulling them up and trying to send love to them. That's what I was trying to do with these wounds, and trying to, I mean, I was crying a lot. I did have help. I had help from friends. I had help from the man who is the love of my life, who has just walked into my life in the last few weeks. So he helped me. Yes, that's big news.
We're going to have to talk about that.
Yes, well, as I said, I have been experiencing everything the last year that everyone is experiencing. This is a huge year for all of us. And we have all done amazingly well to have got this far, because it's not, it's been the year, I think, of all years.
Oh my God, it has. Absolutely, it has. So you're experiencing many of the primary, or I don't say the primary, but I guess the more notable aspects of ascension. One is the clearing, which is, I guess, the really the big part is the clearing, the shadow eating, the shadow work, inner work. Then obviously that clears space for forms of abundance, and one of those is the frequency of we have to be careful with the words because people use so many, but of divine love, basically, of pure love incarnated. Did this your partner, did he appear out of thin air? I mean,
pretty much so. You know how you read, oh, it will happen, and they will just appear, and you just won't, and you'll just go, oh my God, this this is amazing. That's pretty much how it happened. I actually met him in the group in like Wise Ancient Ones about 5 weeks ago. So yeah, so in fact up until 3 weeks ago I was with someone else, and I was with him for 2 years. That was not great for me. And I kept being told, this voice kept on saying, let go of that, let go of that, let go of that. And letting go is quite hard to do, actually. Well, it is for me, but so I didn't. And it was unbelievable, because the minute that I let go of what didn't serve me anymore is the minute that Phil stepped into my life.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, you read it and you think, yeah, sure, of course. But honestly, it's what happens. It's not, as soon as you do it, it just makes that space.
It really does. And even like with us, I mean, we've spent many nights, when we connect together and then we're told, do you want to elevate? Then are you willing to let go of everything? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, are you willing to let go of what you have with her? And you with him? And we say yes. But every time we do it, there's immediate reciprocation of a higher vibration, higher love, higher wisdom, and everything, higher experiences. But the letting go is huge.
It's huge, and it's hard. It is hard. I mean, if you see how I let go, it's I'm clinging on, and it's hard. It's really hard. But once you do, and you're in that free fall, that's when everything unfolds.
Well, I think what's a challenge for people, for all of us, I'll put myself in there too, is that there's a letting go literally, like physically, like in the 3D sense, and then there's a letting go, or maybe it's a surrender, I don't know, at a higher level. But I think where we have a hard time letting go is of the physical part, of what we know, basically. Like a lot of people I've talked to have had a relationship like you just described that was there, and you try to make it work, and you try to make it
oh my God,
and then all of a sudden you let go, and like you said, there it comes, there was a note in here by somebody that just put it. Now I don't typically take a lot of questions because it's a conversation, but this Susan Worthington, thank you for her birthday's on January the 12th.
Wonderful.
And that seems, I've heard that date a couple of times. She says, does anybody know anything about any detailed energies coming for January the 12th? Or let's say even January the 11th or January the 1st. I don't know what type of intel you get, if it's strictly personal, or do you get any type of collective intel?
I do get collective intel. So I think the poem that you first found me in, that was, I think I got that through, it was the first week of January of this year. And the intel I got then was the twin flame template is now online.
Yeah.
And then the codes came through. So it was that. So it was the first week. I can't remember the exact date. So I do. Now I have read that the first week of January next year is a big one, or the first 2 weeks. I haven't yet seen anything. The things I have seen are, I've seen this week where we are about to be rebirthed. So that was the big thing that I have got through this week.
Yeah.
I've also got one of the other big things I got this week was that the twin flames are now safe, because there was a threat which I hadn't seen until this week. So yes, I do get things through for us all, for me as well. But I don't normally get specific dates until it actually happens. So it'll be right now this is happening.
Yeah. Well, that lines up with some stuff I've observed over the last, I guess it was this month. Okay. Now, Morgan and I we've had a pretty, I think anyone that's in these types of relationships, whatever you want to call them, they need to understand it's not all fluffy love and light. Your mirrors for a reason. But in time, it gets smoother, obviously, if you stay committed and everything. But one thing I noticed in this month, was some couples breaking up.
Okay.
that were showing all the signs of, let's just say that template's alignment. And I mean, some, not say harsh, no, I don't know if they were bitter, but there was, I'm going this way, you're going that way, and it's over. And I saw that happen in at least 3 couples that I knew pretty well. And it was almost shocking. So maybe that was that energy that you were talking about, that threat.
Well, yeah. So, sorry, my light's going weird now. Yeah. So I would say, hold on, I'm just going to change the light because it's going stupid.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry.
That's probably some Star Family.
Yeah, it's my star family. It's the energy coming through. Yeah, they're saying hello. Sorry, that's better. Otherwise, it's distracting. Yeah, I would say, well, yeah. So I did some work this week with my friend Sarah, who said, let's do some work on the twin flames. I thought, yeah, cool. So we basically said that we would meet at Stonehenge, obviously in our third eye, and that it would be about the twin flames will lead with our hearts. So I was like, okay, great. So we both do our stuff, and I'm seeing stuff, and Sarah's seeing stuff, and afterwards we were both quite shocked because we saw a threat to the twin flames. So we had both seen this. I actually saw it as grey wolves, this threat, and she saw it as greys, and we were like, okay, that's really weird. We hadn't known that. So the work that I did and that she did was to make them safe again. So just put light and to thread light through it and to keep them safe. So yes, it might have been that a threat, but there isn't that threat now.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing I would say about your friends is I obviously don't know them, but I know that, it's very easy to think that who you're with is the right one. And in the last 4 weeks, that's all changed.
Yeah.
It's all changed. So we don't know. So actually they might not have aligned as well as.
That's true.
It's hard to know.
And that there you go with the letting go again too.
Yeah, it's letting go of the outcome, of the expectation.
Now, one of the things that we're kind of coming into, because I guess part of our mission is sacred sexuality. Okay. And both of us were celibate when we met. And she I think probably, well, it doesn't matter. But anyway, so we were both celibate, and then we had a very you know, it was what, she came, so it was like a little over a year later, we had a divine union ceremony.
Mhm.
And probably about a week later, we consummated, you know, by 3D standards or whatever. But we've talked about it. We've talked about the physical heriosgamos we've had. We've talked about the sacredness that we're coming into. We've talked about the fact that there's no more performance, there's no more expectations, there's no more programming in
Yeah.
our intimacy, and it's not that easy on the human being at all, you know. And I've talked about it, but at the same time, these incredible things are coming into our field, which can only be described, I guess I would describe them as similar to a third eye experience, but they're actually taking on physicality within our bodies,
Mhm.
even if we're just holding hands, you know.
Yeah.
And I wonder if, and I'm starting to wonder if the old sexual intimacy, the programmed sexual intimacy, is an obstacle to a purity and an alignment in these relationships. I don't know.
Well, okay, so it's quite interesting because I think it was yesterday, which so that was the 26th, wasn't it? Very early in the morning. I was about to go to bed, about sort of like 1 in the morning, and I start to feel I have to pull in codes, which is like, oh great, it's now 1 o'clock in the morning. But if I have to, I have to. So I start to pull them in, and it becomes apparent that they are sacred sex codes, sacred love codes. So I'm pulling them in, I'm pulling them in, I'm pulling them in. So that's what we've been feeling for the last day or two. So those are coming in and they're being anchored. And I think it's all to like do with this. It's all to do with the like change in how we see sex in these
yeah. And I gotta say, you know, we've struggled you know, with it. And the only reason I'm talking about it is because I'm sitting here looking at it going, how can you be in that old programming? And I'm no prude, don't get me wrong. I mean, how can you be in that old programming and elevate to this more pure alignment? And for as a masculine, you know, I had to lose everything. I mean, I had to lose all expectation, all performance, uh, everything. My manhood, I had to lose everything, and that was very difficult. But I've also seen the flip side of it when these magical, supernatural things happen that are just mind blowing. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I'm going to go ahead and keep surrendering, which I keep doing, and I don't know. I look at it as energy, and I look at it that we're embodying and integrating the physical and the non-physical and everything we're doing on this trip. So it seems to be a very powerful proposition, I guess. And so I think with you, what you got this morning at 1 o'clock, I mean, that tells me, that gives me some validity that I'm not crazy.
You're not, because I think it's all, I think it's really, because it's a powerful force.
Yeah.
It's a powerful force. And so these new codes are coming in. I don't know what will happen, but I think that we will start to see it in the next, I mean, how codes work is, you know, the next 3 days, you know, and the next few weeks and the next few months that they will come in. For me, I think it's about leading with the heart. So you know, those are the images that I got. And it was when I was pulling in those codes that I got in the like rebirth thing as well.
Yeah, we got that too. We got and these words came up too, which was actually somebody mentioned it on a show the other day, but they've been there for us, which is transformation, courage, and rebirth.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, we've walked through a lot of fears and in the last 4 years, and but it seems like that the elevations are very obvious now. There is a little bit of discomfort. There's a little bit of searching and shadow eating, but it seems like, and it can't just be us. It's got to be happening collectively. What do you think we're stepping into in 2020? I mean,
I think it's going to be amazing, actually. I think it is. It's stepping into rebirth. And I think it's understanding, but really understanding and feeling in our hearts about what it is to be one with each other. I think that's what we are going to step into.
Yeah.
It's flowing in that one.
Do you think that that there's a possibility that we could actually be doing things in the physical body that we've, let's just say up to this point, only done in the third eye or in dimension or interdimensionally?
So like, you mean, you know, like spaceships and things?
Well, like teleporting or bilocating
Interesting.
or alchemy, magic, you know, that has a physical matter ingredient in the equation, you know?
Well, I mean, I suppose for those of us who do energy work, and we have like clients, that is what we are doing all the time anyway.
Exactly.
Is that we change them and help them and you know, shift things. So I don't know. I mean, I think in terms of the other stuff, I would say next year is a push, but you know, perhaps in 5 years or in 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
And do you see, if you look at your clientele in general, have you seen a change in them over the last year? I mean, like, are they coming in more aware? Are they coming in more?
Well, they would only really come in actually a little bit aware, because they will have tried everything else, and then we'll say, okay, please help me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say all of them are a little bit aware, or
Yeah.
they wouldn't come, because it's not a normal thing to like do.
Yeah.
To like come in and like have, you know, someone's hands over you.
Yeah, and when you talk about like the codes that came in this morning, or what you were getting about the twin flame template, or even the interference that was coming in, these types of things, how many people do you think are in that energetic field in this world? I mean, are we talking 144,000? Are we talking 2 or 3 million? I mean, 5 million? I mean, how much of the world is, I guess, as crazy as the people that are watching this or that will watch it and that come on this show?
Okay, so like right, so like in terms of the number 144,000, I would say it's a code.
Yeah.
And a code is not just one thing. It doesn't mean just one thing. It's got layers. So, and all of those are true. So it can be 144,000 of us. Yeah. It's also a vibration. It's also, I mean, I've like read lots of things, and I would say all of those are true, because it's a code. It's a code. In terms of is it everyone in the world? That's the aim, isn't it? Is that exactly. All of us should be operating at that. So, you know, those of us who are aware now, we are just aware now, and the hope is that everyone will like join us in this space. And if not, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine.
Yeah. But I think if you ask any of us, and so many people have said the same thing, and I guess that maybe is another form of surrendering or letting go. People say, I'm not leaving till the last person's gone home, you know, and I used to say it a lot. And then you get something come in. I had somebody come in a couple of months ago that was just what you said, which is, if they come, they come. If they don't, they don't. Just
if
let
they
it
don't,
go.
it's just let it go. I mean, you know, it's choice, it's free will at the end of the day, and they will come, but that might not be for hundreds of thousands of years, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's not all of us, you know, it's not like that. It's not, we just clap our hands and it's done. It takes a long time.
Yeah, obviously it does. And you've got kids in your life?
I have got 2 children. Yes, they are 23 and 20.
Okay. So I've got some that are 18 to 30. But
wow.
But I'm just curious, as we've been talking to more and more people that, you know, talking in regard to their kids, has especially if it's an energy practitioner, have they had any impact, you know, even if it's unconscious, on you? Are they carrying codes that you're not? Are you picking up information from them, that type of thing?
I suppose what they do is that they ground me, and that's really important for me, because from a very small child I haven't been able to ground that well. So I float off actually very easily. So I think that is their role for me. It's not to, like, you know, help me fly off more. It's to ground me so that I can actually be in this world, and help, because I wouldn't, you know, if I was off all the time, I couldn't help anyone.
Yeah. And you've been picking up this stuff on what people call twin flames in that template. Do you have any idea exactly what they're doing, what these couples are doing, or what their role will be?
Well, I would imagine a bit like you do. It is to bring in the new form of love, and it's to lead with the heart.
Yeah.
And it's to be truly heartful, truly heartful. I also think it helps to, you know, and I have done this almost all my life until the last 3 weeks, is to be with someone who's not right for me and just stay with them. And I think it's to help those who are with who, you know, someone who isn't right for them, to leave, to actually be able to like find that heartfelt, that heart to heart. You know, it's one heart merge into a whole heart.
Yeah. I guess we all gotta leave the nest at some point, right? Everyone's Now you were in London, and you know, by all accounts, it seems that that's a very strategic and powerful place in the world, in the way we designed this beautiful masterpiece.
Isn't it beautiful how we were all everywhere?
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect, actually.
And absolutely, and from the human aspect, you know, especially with what your role, you know, part of your role is as an energy practitioner, as somebody who's doing grid work and pulling in code and embodying stuff. I know a lot of people get frustrated or challenged by what's going on, let's just say, in the world stage or in the story or the narrative, whatever you want to call it. How do you deal with that? How do you does that take any of your attention or focus, or how do you, you know?
I am aware of it. And there are aspects which I find hard to understand, and I try. I mean, it's hard. I do try and just let go of outcomes, just let go of feeling annoyed, angry, frightened, joyful. Just let it go. So I'm aware. So I don't not watch the news. You know, I'll see it, I'll understand it, but I don't get attached to it.
Yeah.
So I don't allow myself to like feel it in that way.
So your focus is generally in your own field, in your own life. You're on a personal level, your relationships, your mission, your work, and that type of thing.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I think next year will actually be a bit more of a change for me, because I have freed up my time so that I don't have as many clients, so that I can write more, I can teach more, I can train more. I think that's what I will be doing next year. I think a lot of us this year has been about trying to like step into our role. So as you said, there are a lot of us who have been doing this work for a long time, and have been very shy about sharing ourselves. And that's me. So every time I post, I have to pretty much force myself to post, even on Facebook. And me coming on the show was a really big thing, because I don't share. Thank you for asking me. You know, that was really big for me, because being seen is quite difficult for a lot of us who since childhood had to hide ourselves, because we weren't, you know, we were strange. And we had to keep ourselves quiet and small. So coming out is big for a lot of us.
Well, we appreciate you coming out today, and
Thank you.
You were weird, and you're still weird, but we're all weird.
That is, you know what I say to my kids, I'm weird and I love it, and that's how I'll always be.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you know, I've never been to London. You know, I've been to New York. And
have you not? Well, you'll have to come and say hello.
Yeah, as soon as I
visit.
I've got some things to take care of this year, and when I do that, then I'll be allowed to get out of here.
Oh,
most people want to get in here. I'm trying to get out. but I've been in like New York, you know, Chicago, LA. I've lived all over the country. and I know London's probably a lot like DC, Washington DC, in terms
It's busy.
of
It's very busy. Yeah.
Do you see, what do you see on the streets in London? Do you feel the heavy energy? Is there a lot of positive energy? Are people talking about ascension? Or do you see signs of, I don't know, metaphysical shops, things coming into the
yeah, no, I
mainstream?
mean, there are lots and lots of shops. So yep, it is becoming mainstream, especially here, because it's, it's the sort of place where things move and change. So there is that. I would say in terms of, but it's not quite as, I mean, so I don't think anybody really knows about the stuff that like we actually talk about. So, they might burn sage, but that's about it. There's not a huge amount more that's going on. So I think next year, my friend Joe and I are planning to try and actually teach a little bit more about the like stuff that you actually talk about on your show, and the stuff that I know, because I think it's important.
Yeah.
And I have told a few of the clients that I have, and they love it. They love to hear it.
Really?
They're like, oh my God, that's so cool, because they don't know, because there isn't that information except on Facebook, really.
Yeah. I mean, I've never really thought about it, because I don't look around too much, but I ask people from different parts of the world when they come on the show, and it seems to be what you're saying is true. It's really under the radar, off the beaten path. Yeah.
Off the radar. I mean, I have friends who have been doing the like same path as me for years, and even they don't know a lot of the stuff that like we actually talk about.
Yeah.
So like now I have come out on my own Facebook page, which was quite a big thing for me. It means that they can see things like codes. They didn't even know that I worked with codes, and I've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
So I think it's about us sharing more.
Yeah. Have you had any prominent energies that you worked with, or was it pretty much your higher self?
Well, when I first woke, my guide was Jesus. So that was a big way to wake. It's like, oh hi. So
that was mine too.
Was it? It was actually, I was quite overwhelmed, to be honest. So I woke, and I saw myself as his wife. And that was quite big for me, because at the time, which was, I think it was 2006, not a lot was known. I wasn't on Facebook. I didn't know what was going on. And I think for about a year, I was finding it hard to handle.
Yeah.
Just major. I think, oh my God, I'm his wife.
Like,
and
you're crazy.
Yeah, I thought I was crazy. Also, I was getting all these, all of these things I could see. I was being told things, I was hearing things, and that was quite hard. And I actually truly believed that I had been his wife, because why would I not? I was seeing everything. And it took me quite a while to understand that it was a code. I was seeing a code, and that was my first code. It's somewhere in me.
Yeah, that's similar to what happened with me, because I wasn't his wife, but he came
you might
in.
Have been. You might have been.
Well, I could. Well,
who knows? Why not? Why not?
Yeah, he came in, and then Magdalene came in.
Yeah.
And then they showed me this baby and told me I was her son, and then I basically channeled a book over 4 days about this life. But I didn't. It confused me, and all these things were happening just like with you. But it confused me, and the reason I like talking about this stuff is because there are probably people going through this right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the way you describe it, as you recognize it as code, is very important. I mean, when I went through it, I knew that it wasn't literal, but I knew in some cosmic sense that I didn't understand that it was true. You know? But it wasn't literal. It was more of information, data.
It is, because it just comes flooding in, and it's stuff which you think, well, I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know it. It's just floods in, and it's a lot, I think, especially in the first year, it's quite intense. It's quite hard to handle. And I think I have seen this. I have seen when like someone just wakes and they think they are whoever it is.
Yes.
But it's a code.
Yes. And I think that's important for people to remember. And that's really a great way to conclude this subject, is that, you know, I guess I would go at it this way. You know, I tell my friends when they start having these elevations, these really spikes up, get over the wow. Just get over that and go to the next one, because they're going to keep coming.
It's going to come. Exactly. And I think that you have to let go of that as being you, because it puts a limit on you, actually. That's what I find.
Yeah.
We are limitless, and we are so much more than just being that aspect. Yeah. We are limitless because we are source. And if we say, oh, actually, I am the like rebirth of you know, whoever it is, we are limiting ourselves.
Well, exactly. And I you know, I live with someone who speaks the exact same language you do. One of her favorite sayings is, "Why would you limit yourself?" But exactly. You know, but it is powerful. It's powerful when you have the Arcturians come in, or you have this past memory, or you have the type of, you know. But so I guess, you know. But
like, it's important to have those at the start. Absolutely. It's important because it's what hooks us in. It's what makes us go, oh, that's actually really cool.
It's sexy.
Otherwise,
it's sexy, man.
Exactly, it is. It's amazing. You think, oh my God, this is so cool. But I can tell when like someone's been worked for about a year or two, because they are saying things like, oh, I had this amazing role. Mm-hmm. And I was like that. So I'm not saying it, you know, to like judge them. But actually we all do. We all have this amazing role. Of course. And it's a team. And it's a team.
Yeah, it is.
All of us have
now,
our part to play.
Just for the sake of these folks that are say it's happening to them right now, or maybe it's been happening to them. How did you? And you even admitted it. I mean, how did you achieve that level of detachment? How did you get to that point? Were you challenged, and how did you alleviate that?
Gosh. Yeah, so let me think. Do you know, I think I got to it because I think I just got bored. It sounds odd, because I was just hearing the like same thing, because it gets to a stage after 2 years where if you think you are a certain aspect, you are being told the like same thing. Yeah. And I think it was just, okay, I've got over this bit now. Yeah. I've got over it. And I think it's learning to be humble as well. Yeah. I think that was a huge thing for me, because I would go around, because I was hearing things like, you know, you are the light of the world, and I took that as me only. I am the light of the world. And it took me some time to understand that when you're told you are the light of the world, it means you are all the light of the world, not you specifically, or, you know, you will save the world. Well, it's not you as you as this small aspect, it's all of you. So it took some time, to be honest. It was just thinking, I can't really live life like, you know, this huge overblown head. So yeah, time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it is code. I think that's the best way to put it.
I think it helps just to know it's code, and we all understand, because all of us have got code, and we've got codes of this person or that person, and it's an aspect of us, and that's fine.
Yeah, I'd love to get together with you again. And
that'd be great.
And talk about there's a lot of stuff we could talk about.
It's been fun.
But we've got just before we leave, if there's anything that you would like to do, I don't know, whatever, if a transmission, a channeling, a blessing, more commentary about a specific subject, any announcements you might have, how people can find you, what you do, if you're interested.
Okay. So I actually, because I was trying to like do lists so I wouldn't leave anything else. Okay, so I think the main messages are for twin flames. So what I've been hearing this week is that you are safe. You're all safe now, so you can let go of the fear. Everyone is safe. The other one is, if you feel in your heart that there is a him or a her who is out there for you, ignore what everyone else is saying about that kind of love doesn't exist. Just ignore it, because if you feel it in your heart, it does. And if you haven't found them yet, you will find them. Your him or your her. It took me 51 years to like find him, and I finally have. So never ever give up hope. If you feel it in your heart, he or she is there. Yeah. And actually, I think the most important thing is in terms of trying to find that love of your life. The most important thing is, so most of us in this world are very, very good at being able to flow love out. So we're very used to like sending out love. I would say you will only meet whoever you're meant to meet when you are able to open your heart and allow their love to flow into you.
Yeah.
And that's much harder for most of us to
I
allow
know.
that love in.
I know it is.
Really hard.
Well, you're smarter than me. It took me like 54 years, I think.
Hey, I'm doing so well.
Well, and the other thing too is what you said at the end there is true too, because loving someone. Well, you know what Morgan did? When Morgan came the first time, she said, "I'm going to use your love for me until you find the love for yourself." In other words, you're devoted. I know you love me. You obviously don't love yourself, which means you can't receive.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that's a beautiful part of that journey between the two people. It's a powerful thing. I do believe that it only makes sense to me. Like we went from all these distorted levels, to the one, to get to one. And it's like we go into the one, we hit a 0 point. Now we come out of it. We're actually going to externalize this incredible marriage that's happened within ourselves. And that's why I look at what could happen this year. I mean, yeah, we're the only thing that can limit us is ourselves. I mean, anything can happen.
I think this is what it is. I honestly think next year is going to be amazing because we've worked so hard this year. I mean, all of us have worked really, really hard. All of us.
And do you do sessions online?
I can do, yeah.
Okay.
I can do it online. I can do it not even online. I can just tune in as well. Yeah.
But I mean, as far as like, I don't know because people probably will. Usually, what happens with this show, people will know. That's why I asked the question. So they might be reaching out to you just so they'll know.
Oh, cool. Well, that's great to, I mean, just the best way is obviously just on Facebook because I'm on Facebook. So just like send me a friend request or just say hi and then I can take it from there. Well,
I really appreciate you spending time with us and sharing space with us. Thank you for having the patience to get through the technical.
I wasn't going to miss it. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I look forward to doing it again.
Yeah, that was so cool. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye. Take care.